So I heard someone saying that it is better to rent than to buy. So I just want to put my opinion on this, whether it is better to buy or it is better to rent. So I'm going to break it down into a two-part series. Today I'm going to focus on the pros and the cons of buying, and then on the next episode, which is next week, I'm going to focus on the pros and the cons of this channel. As you know, we talk all things real estate, all things personal finance, so that you are the driver of your financial life and not just the passenger. All right, so let's get to it, shall we? So buying is a very significant decision. So it's a decision that needs careful consideration, right? So you really need to be sure that you have evaluated the pros and the cons of actually buying a property, and then at the end of that, you need to check and ensure that you are ready to make that financial commitment. Right. So first, before I go to the pros and the cons, I just want to break down how do you know if you are ready to buy or not. Right. So I'm going to break it down into 5 elements. The first one is your financial situation. Right. So you need to check if you are able to afford all the costs that are associated with buying a property. Right. And there's cost before buying the property and there's cost after buying the property. For example, before, if maybe your credit score is not that good, you need to pay a deposit. If let's say the bank gives you maybe an LTV that is between 80% and 95%, that still need to be covered by you, right? And then you need to be able to pay transfer cost and the bond registration cost, right? And also, after buying the property, you need to be able to pay things like property rates, electricity, your home loan repayment, and other payments, right? And the second element is your future plans, right? So it is very much important to understand that you don't intend to move, or you intend to move in the near future, because if you are buying a property, at least in minimum that you are able to build some sort of equity in that property, you need to spend at least a minimum of, let's say, 5 years. Then when you sell at that point, you have a very good equity, right? And the third element is your lifestyle. Right? So, are you willing and are you financially able to take care of the property to ensure that it maintains its value? Because it's very much important that from the point that you buy the property to the point that you sell the property, you are able to maintain the value of that property, so that the value of the property must always go up, right? Not going down, right? Another thing that is important to consider is the real estate market conditions. So are the current prices of the value going up, which means they are rising, or are they going down, right? Because that's another thing that you need to be checking, right? And then are there many homes for sale in the market? So those are the things that you need to consider, and you need to be able to know, right? And lastly, other financial goals, right? Does buying this property affect your educational plans for you and your kids, or your retirement plans? So if it affects such issues, then it is very much important that you really evaluate that point, right? Just before I can go to the pros and the cons of buying a home, right? If you have not already subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel and share with your friends, and like the video. And thank you for those that have subscribed to this channel and keep coming back. It means that the information that we're sharing in this channel is adding value in their lives, and that's what we intend to do. So what do you need to consider about buying a property? So in this case, we're going to go down into what are the pros of buying a property and what are the cons of buying a property. So we're going to break it down into 3 elements of each, right? So the first thing, in terms of the pros of buying a property, it's investment. So a property is considered as an investment or as a forced savings, because you are building what we call equity. The more you pay your bond repayment on a monthly basis, and the longer you spend time in that property, in most cases the property will appreciate, which means it goes up in value. So that is building equity. And I've made so many videos in terms of what equity is and how to build it. So I'll put some links on the description so that you are able to check it out, right? And then the second option element is stability, right? So you have control over your living situation when you own a property, right? And you cannot be kicked out by a landlord, right? And then you can make as many changes as you want according to how you like or how you see fit in the property, without you reporting to someone or getting some limitation that you cannot even do it, right? And the third element is that there's a potential for rental income, right? So if you have a back room in that property, or if you have more space to rent out, you can actually rent out to offset the cost of home ownership, right? Also, maybe if you decide to move, you can also rent out that property, and the bond actually gets paid for itself and pays for itself, which is a very, very good thing, because it serves as a source of passive income, right? And this is how most wealthy people are doing this. Have you ever heard of a phrase that says that 90% of all wealthy people have become so because of real estate? This is where the goal is, right? Okay, then I'm going to start now talking about the cons of buying a home, right? Also, I'm going to bring it down into 3 elements, right? First thing first, the financial commitment, right? So it's a financial commitment to buy a house. So, and it requires a lot of cost. For example, the home loan repayment, the rates and taxes, the levies if you are staying in a property that is having a body corporate, right? The insurances and the maintenance cost, and the repair of some of the stuff there in that property. So it is very much important that you take that into consideration before you buy a property, right? The second thing is the lack of flexibility. So if you are owning a property, right? So, and you cannot actually rent the house out, it means you need to stay in that location for a longer period of time. Right? So that's some of the things that you need to consider. But if you are still young and you don't have a family, of course, maybe you want flexibility. But most people that have families, that have stable jobs, they really are enjoying this lack of flexibility in a way, right? And then the other thing is maintenance, right? So home ownership means being responsible for maintenance and the repairs of the property, right? In some cases, it can be expensive, or some cases where you do it yourself, it can actually be time consuming. But it's very much important to understand these things. These are not all bad reasons, right? So in the next episode, we're going to focus on renting, the costs and the cons of actually renting a property, right? And in the meantime, you can be commenting on the comment section, telling me if you think it is better to rent or if it is better to buy a property. Then I'll close it out on the end buying. The big elephant, the Korea Manage. Cheers. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.